Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, Project Rocket Day 3. Now, just to be clear, this is not a long-term project, it's not a new project, this is just a bike that I've got hold of that I want to enjoy. We've got the XJR 1300 project underway and we're about halfway through. We've still got a lot of work to do on that and we'll return to that very shortly. I've just made myself a short list of half a dozen jobs to do to get this beautiful old bike back on the road so I can enjoy it. Now, first on my little list was clean up the bike to a standard. Well, I think we did that, didn't we? We took it over to Barney and he's made this bike look $1 million compared to the bog donkey that rolled in, and I'm really happy with the outcome. There's just a couple of pieces of the chrome are just a bit too far gone and they'll either need replating or painting, and I'm going to look into both of those later on. The next one on the list was sort out the exhaust leak. Now, this bike came to me with a Zard exhaust system. These are a ferocious amount of money. They're so expensive, so I want to keep that on the bike if I can, but it's got a horrible leak on the header pipe, and somebody at some point has spread a little bit of that white exhaust paste into the gap to try and seal it up. Not quite the way to do it, certainly not a permanent solution. It's crumbled and fell out and it's leaking again. And I have to get that sealed up. I'm going to paint it at the same time and we're going to do that today. We'll start on that little project next. And the reason I need to get that sorted out and need to seal up that leak is for number 3. Take it to the dyno for a tune-up. Now with a Zard exhaust, I've got a K&N air filter in the airbox. It tells me that on the service history, and also I've had a look and it's in there. It's brand new, it's only fitted in June. So we've got a free-flowing inlet and exhaust. I just want to check it's mapped correctly for that. So a run on the dyno is the right way. Also at the time, I'm going to try and sort out this stutter just off the throttle and get it running absolutely like a watch. And then, most importantly, number 4, replace the tyres. They're both dated 2011, which is the original tyres that came with the bike from the factory 13 years ago. So we all agree you can't ride on those. They're rock hard. It doesn't handle very nicely, and there's a couple of nasty cracks developing in the front tyre. So I've got 2 new tyres for it, and as soon as we've done everything else, I'm going to take the wheels out, take them up to my mate, and we'll fit a brand new set of boots onto it. And then, of course, a really important one also, number 5, go and enjoy the bike. I think we'll put the cameras on it, we'll take it out for a ride, because I've never had a good fun ride on a Rocket 3, and I cannot wait to get this out in the country lanes. And I want to do that before the season turns, the snow comes, the salt comes, and it turns to winter. There's a little bit of decent weather left. It's only October at the time of recording this, and I've got plenty of time to get these half a dozen little jobs done and get it out in the lanes. So let's get stuck in. Today, exhaust. Let's strip it off, get it prepped, get it painted. Oh, hey, wonderful. Right, now this is a journey of discovery for both of us because believe it or not, I've had no time to do anything with this bike off camera, and that is the first time I've taken that side panel off, and look what we've discovered. Two very interesting things straight away. Firstly, right in your face, a Dynajet Power Commander 5. That's awesome. A PC5 is a big investment, and there's no receipt in the service record of this bike for that, but there's also no receipt in the service record for the Zard Exhaust either, and that was equally a massive investment. So I imagine those two items were on the same invoice and it maybe got lost, but there it is. When you buy a used bike, you never know what you're going to inherit, bad or good, and today I've got myself a PC5 I didn't know about. That's a win. And secondly, I took the cover off to get access to the plug for the O2 sensor, because underneath the exhaust it's got a lambda sensor plugged in. I followed the wire up underneath the cover. Fine, I'll just unplug that so I can take the exhaust off. But there's the plug, I can see it. It's not plugged into anything. So I'm just going to pull this off a little bit more and see if there's a bypass plug in there somewhere and find out why the lambda sensor's not plugged in. There it is, and there's the bypass plug. Okay. Right, that makes perfect sense. It's got a bypass plug, so the O2 sensor has been deleted. What's confusing is that if you do that, if you bypass the O2 sensor and you tune on a PC5 or something, you'd normally take the lambda sensor out and put a plug in the hole. But in this case, they've just left it in and left it unplugged. Anyway, I'm going to replace all this nice and neatly as it was, and I'll leave it for my mate at the dyno to sort all that out and make whatever improvements there are to be made when we go down there next week.